Well, here we are at my long-awaited Double or Nothing review, and unfortunately we did not get the views we needed for this guy to survive. So, lucky for you, you're going to watch me kill him while listening to the dulcet tones of my voice discussing the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Let's get a reveal of the unmasking. So, in all actuality, I am making a squash fritter. I've never been a super huge fan of squash, but I figured, why not give it a try? Try to do it in a way that I might enjoy by putting a potato and some eggs in it, and cheese and whatnot. But anyway, fuck. So the first thing we gotta do is we gotta peel this bad boy. I'm just gonna do it into here, I guess. Never done this before. I guess we could start with like the main card, which was Cope and Cage. Oh shit. Fuck. Oh my god. It was like, it was a great match. Oof. This is going to be a challenge. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Fuck. Essentially, Cope and Cage versus FTR for the tag team titles was a very fun, hardcore match to open the show. A very, feel-good moment that had, a bunch of good spots, It was cool to see Beth Phoenix come out, although it was kind of weird to watch her kick Stokely and then immediately get thrown into the steel steps by Dax. Kind of had the thought of wouldn't you want her to look as strong and imposing as possible, and then to immediately just get fuck you dumped. I was oh, okay, all right. And then she kind of I don't know. I love Beth Phoenix. She's awesome. And it was cool to see, Cope and Cage win the titles and finally reunite. Or not reunite, but I guess fully be recognized as them being a tag team again. As for what comes next for Cope and Cage, I kind of feel they've been teasing the Young Bucks staying within the title picture this whole time. And I kind of feel maybe doing, especially since the New Day are coming in, I feel I guess we don't know that the New Day are coming in, but I would hope that they're coming in. And I assume that most of AEW are definitely would want the New Day to come in. So if they were to come in, then I feel probably doing some kind of multi-team match for All In for the tag titles would be the safest bet. You could do just Cope and Cage versus Young Bucks straight up, and I think that's a great enough match for that card. But if you want it to be memorable, oh my god moments, then having the New Day debut, kind of in a similar fashion to how the New Day introduced the Hardys into WWE all those years ago, coming into the ladder match and then winning the tag titles, I think it could be a cool moment. But again, that's entirely dependent on if the New Day even want to come into AEW. Maybe they want to go conquer New Japan. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know. Oh my god. Ugh. As you can see, my physical prowess, remains unmatched. Ugh. Oh, look at me. I'm learning. I am become death. Shit. I've decided that using this shit fucking sucks. So, I decided to use a knife. The next match on the card was probably my most anticipated match, which was Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada for the International Championship. I know they had a match at World's End, but it had a wonky finish. And I feel like it was one of those matches where you could tell like both of the guys were kind of like holding back. Like they like knew they were gonna get a bigger spotlight down the line, so it's like, this is more of like a storyline moment. Whereas like this match was them fucking putting it all out there. And I thought it was fantastic. I was super happy to see Konosuke Takeshita getting the win. I also enjoyed like kind of the overall story that like in this match especially Don Callis was like holding them back. Takeshita gets taken out on the outside. Okada's like, I'm gonna tombstone this motherfucker. And Don Callis calls it off like, no, don't do it. You're gonna hurt one of my assets. Oh shit. And then, Okada doesn't do it. And then Konosuke Takeshita, when given the opportunity, absolutely messes Okada up on the outside. Even though Don Callis was like trying to be like, no, don't do it. Takeshita like told him off like, don't tell me what to do. And then, of course, towards the end of the match, Takeshita hits that power drive knee. Okada kicks out at one, trying to, like, again, prove, like, he's fucking better than him. But again, like, great story of the match. He collapses, like, he really just struggles to get up, like, just selling the fact that, like, that kind of took everything he had out of him to prove, like, to show that level of arrogance, to be like, no, I don't give a fuck. And then to immediately be like, oh God. And then Takeshita hit him with the nasty forearm and the fuck is it called? The Raging Fire for the win. Unfortunately, kind of feels like Konosuke's win got overshadowed a little bit by the returning Kyle Fletcher. But, considering that this is going to be an ongoing feud between, I assume, all of them, it makes sense that he would immediately, position himself into this feud. And then, he faked us out by backing off the rest of the Don Callis family and, supporting Takeshita, but then he turned on him, clobbered him, killed him, all the words. And I feel like this is probably setting up like a triple threat at All In between the three of them, especially because after the beatdown, both Okada and Takeshita went to pick up, Okada and Fletcher went to pick up the international title, and they both picked it up, kind of looked at each other, and then Okada backed off. But I have a feeling Okada's ego isn't going to be like placated that easily. So I think at the moment we're going to be getting Fletcher and Takeshita, which I'm super excited about. And then maybe at All In, we get that triple threat where I don't know who wins. Maybe Fletcher wins and Takeshita and Okada both rise up the card. But I think maybe it's a safer bet to have Takeshita win and kind of keep him busy with that. Because I have a, sneaking suspicion that Will Ospreay is going to win that Owen Hart Cup tournament and the AEW World Championship. And after that, it's like, okay, well then who beats Ospreay? And I feel like Okada is probably the number one candidate to do it. Like, the dude is one of the best wrestlers, seemingly of all time, but especially of like the modern age. And to have him in the mid-card, while entertaining as it's been, it is kind of like a disservice of like how well you could use him. So finally ascending him to the main event scene and being the one to take out Ospreay, I feel like makes all the sense in the world to me. But, we'll see. That's just me fantasy booking or, assuming things way far in advance. Fuck. As you can see, I'm very skilled with a knife. Oh, jeez. Just trying really hard not to cut my fingers off. I can't wait to do like all this work and then eat it and be like, this is disgusting. And I'm sure it's probably because I'm just gonna do something wrong. Oh my God, I'm cutting way more off. No! All right, time to cut this bitch in the middle. Well, All right, to keep my safety in mind, I'm going to, oh God, try my best to cut it. Here we go. There we go. Will this work? Oh my God, it kind of is. Yay. Oh. Pretty. Look at this motherfucker. Disgusting. Oh. Man, I am on point. Get these fucking bastards out of here. Alright. I'm getting gross with it. Oh, God, that was disgusting. That was way grosser than I thought it was gonna be. Ugh. Alright, dumping this. I guess I'll try doing it like this to maybe like dampen the sound or something. But next up, we got that would have been bad. Next up, we have Mina Shirakawa versus Athena in the opening round of the women's bracket of the Owen Cup tournament. The winner gets an opportunity against Thekla at All In, or whoever the women's champion is going to be at that time. But most likely it's going to be Thekla. So, this is a very loud process, and I'm not going to put you through that. So, you're going to watch me time cut from all of this being shredded down with, you know, this. So, see ya. Okay, I'm gonna give my hand a break and talk about Mina Shirakawa versus Athena. I feel like probably it was the weakest match on the main card. It was still really good because I mean those two women can wrestle, but I mean the match was kind of just Mina Shirakawa working over Athena's leg, and Athena, like, it was cool up to a point because Athena like went off the second rope to try to protect her leg, and as a result Mina Shirakawa was able to counter it. But then the finisher, I think, was just Athena going, fuck it. Like hitting a jumping tombstone on her knees, then hitting the top rope O-face for the finish, and then getting the win. So maybe the story is that like throughout the tournament, her knee injury is gonna get worse and worse and probably gonna be her downfall in the finals. But for this, you know, match in a vacuum, I thought it was just kind of like, oh, I just watched Athena get beat up, but then she won at the end, which is like kind of one of my least favorite like types of matchups, where it's just one guy dominates, the other guy hits like 3 moves and wins. It's like, okay. Like I said, it's definitely better than what I'm giving it credit for, but just comparatively to like every other match on the card, it's like, you know. In terms of like who I think is gonna win the Owen, the bracket is not exactly the most exciting thing. I saw a comment on like the reveal that, you know, AEW is gonna do like a TBS Survival of the Fittest match to determine the new TBS champion, and the comment was like, oh man, you can do these kinds of matches when you have the depth of talent that AEW does, women's does. Fuck. And it was like, oh, thanks to the depth of the women's division, you can do these kinds of matches. And I was like, size and depth aren't exactly the same thing. Like, I like a lot of the women that are in this division, but like, they are not nearly to the level of star power that like Toni Storm, not nearly to the level that like Toni Storm or Mercedes Moné is. My pick probably would have been Willow Nightingale to win the whole thing again and fight Thekla as like uber babyface versus, you know, uber heel. But now that she's out of the tournament, I'm like Alex Windsor, I guess makes sense because she's Will Ospreay's, you know, partner, and you know they're going to be in the UK. She's British, makes sense. But I just don't feel like she's at that level. Like to me, she's in TBS Championship territory. And the idea that she's going to be fighting for the world title, I'm like, I don't know, that feels a little out of her depth. And then on the other side, like you could do Athena, but that's kind of like heel versus heel. Like you could easily make Athena the babyface going into this, you know, but I just don't think that's the character that she's been doing for the past few years, especially with like the Forever Championship. Maybe if she put her title on the line and it was like both championships, Ring of Honor versus AEW, and like then I guess it would add some stakes. It's like, oh, is Athena gonna lose her status as Forever Champion? And then, you know, obviously I think the most wild card pick is the wild card because, you know, who knows who it could be. I think Jamie Hayter is like a good pick because then you could do Jamie Hayter versus Alex Windsor and it's a fun like British match. And then you could big up Jamie Hayter to finally defeat Thekla at Wembley Stadium. Another option that I think is possible, maybe Britt Baker. I was speculating like where were they going with Willow Nightingale as like the comeback killer? And in my head, I'm like, well, the only way you really go with that is that eventually someone does come back and beat her. And I was like, well, who has been like out of action that like, you know, could be on the level enough to take the title from her and be like, and do so in a legitimate fashion. And I thought about Britt Baker. Like, she's been gone. She's still a part of the roster. Apparently her and Tony Khan are still on good terms. So I figured like she might be we might get Britt Baker versus Willow Nightingale as kind of like a make-do from Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné. But now that Willow's out of the tournament and I see that wild card, I'm like, oh, I wonder if maybe Britt Baker's gonna come back and she's gonna be the one to run the gauntlet as kind of like a returning face, you know? I don't know. But regardless, I'm very curious who the wild card is gonna be. And if it's not someone super interesting, then I'm kind of nonplussed about the rest of the women's bracket. Like, I just don't understand why they didn't get more like big name talents from the women's division. Like, they plugged 4 of them into that fatal 4-way, or 3 of them into that fatal 4-way. But I'm like, maybe it would have been better if you put like Sheeta and Statlander in the tournament and then have them meet in the finals. Or like, you know, I don't know. Or like someone like Harley Cameron, who I thought like when her and Willow like broke up as a tag team, it was supposed to like make, you know, the two of them I thought when the two of them broke up as a tag team, it was supposed to be that the two of them could thrive as individuals. But like, ever since then, Harley's just been helping other people. Like, she was with the conglomeration earlier on the buy-in for Double or Nothing, and then she helped Statlander win her match, her, you know, lights out match against Sheeta. And I'm just like, I want to see you do something, not just you help other people do stuff. So I feel like that tournament bracket was kind of a missed opportunity, and especially because like we don't really, the AEW general audience, I don't think knows who like Hazuki or Sari does, and I think they barely know who Persephone is. You know, they could absolutely blow me away with the matches and get me interested in watching any of those women take Thekla on for that title, but I do think it's a steep hill in order to do so. But again, it's possible, and I'm interested to see where they go from here. Next up, we had Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly for the Continental Championship. This match was definitely the most like slow burn, pure in-ring wrestling match of like the night, and I loved it for it. It's so cool seeing Kyle O'Reilly like, I don't know, treated like seriously. He's always been a guy that I've kind of considered like the goofy fun member, like especially when he was in the Undisputed Era and he played the title down. Now that he's in the conglomeration and he's still doing like the over-the-top goofy stuff, it's cool to see that he can still like dial in and be like a threatening and intimidating force, especially to like main event guys like Moxley. Like I think Moxley has been super giving with this feud, and like I think it sets up Kyle O'Reilly to be a singles champion sometime into the future. When, not exactly sure, probably after his trios title reign with the conglomeration. Maybe he could get that TNT title, or at least that national championship. I mean, he could definitely get that national title. But the match itself was great. It was just Moxley working smart and Kyle trying to adapt to him. Like Moxley was working the leg, and it eventually just got down to Kyle going for the ankle lock because that's been his like checkmate move every time. Moxley from the ground locks in an ankle lock of his own, and then Kyle tries to do a roll up, fails, and then it only allows Moxley to lock in that ankle lock even further. Kyle is forced to tap out. And you can, like, you really feel for Kyle as he's tapping. Like, he's just sitting there squirming, and you're just like, oh, bud, there's nowhere to go. And sure enough, you know, he taps out all sad face. The two respective factions come out to, look to their guys. And afterwards, Kyle and Moxley shake hands. I assume to signify the end of their feud. Again, great match on a night of great matches. And super awesome to see like Moxley's progression as a character, especially since like his original Death Riders pitch was so hated, and to see like through the Continental Classic and his Hangman like loss, he's completely flipped what everybody's opinions on him was, or like a majority of people's opinions on him was. Like he's now one of the most interesting and engaging characters that AEW has, and I think keeping him in the spotlight, especially associated and close with Ospreay and now Omega, I think is super smart, and I'm very interested to see like where it goes, because I think Ospreay as champion, feuding with Omega, feuding with Moxley, is something I'm super excited for. Whew. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. If it's not, or if I got the ratios wrong, you know what I mean? Now I'm gonna throw in 100 grams-ish, probably like more like 110, but of flour into this. Hopefully it will bind things, keep it together, actually be a fritter and not just a pile of slop. Okay, adding some pepper. Quite a bit of that. Oh, I guess I should talk about the next batch. And put in some salt. I'll put in more pepper. Then I'll put in garlic powder. The next match is, as I continue to not talk about it, is Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. A really fun match. I was expecting it to be good, and it actually exceeded my expectations. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought both guys were going at it. Onion powder. I thought the story of the match was a little weird, just because I kind of thought with Ospreay learning his new armbar finisher that he would showcase it against the Samoan submission machine, but oh god, the seasonings are getting in my nose. But essentially, he tried it a couple times and he worked over Joe's arm, but then he just won with the hidden blade, and it was done in awesome, spectacular fashion. But I don't know. I was kind of just like, okay, well then what was the point of working over the arm? I mean, I guess, to also block the Kakina clutch. But I just thought like he would maybe, and if the story of the match was Joe was too good for this new submission to work on him, then I would have preferred that they would have taken the time to make that more part of the story. That like he locks in that submission like 4 different times and every time Joe has a counter for it. So Ospreay finally has to just be like, fuck it, hidden blade. And then like, you can go from there and really develop the finisher a lot more stronger. And then maybe it can be the thing that wins him the world title at All In, if, that's in fact where we're going. But yeah, Ospreay won. Great match. I assume he's going to win the whole bracket. I assume it's going to be him and Swerve, who, spoiler, wins the next match against Bandito. Again, in another fantastic match. But I assume it's going to be the two of them in the finals. A rematch for Forbidden Door 2023, I want to say, when Swerve was the champion. And at this time, Ospreay will get his win back. I kind of feel like that's what this tournament is. Like, he's going to get his win back from Mark Davis. He's going to get his win back from Swerve. He's probably going to get his win back from Moxley. And then, get the ultimate win over MJF. But regardless, I'm excited to see. Throw some Italian herbs in there. All right. Now for the fun part. But yeah, Swerve and Bandito was the next match in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. It was, common thing you're going to hear over and over again. It was really good. Unfortunately, I kind of just don't have much to say about Swerve and Bandito. Like, I assumed Swerve was going to win the entire time. Nothing about the match. Like, I thought the 21 plex, like the counter to it, was awesome, and like the deadlift, like the story they told was great. Unfortunately, I kind of think it just got overshadowed by like a lot of the other matches on the card. Even though I thought it was like really, really good and like probably one of the best matches Bandito's had like in a while. Swerve too, for that matter. I don't know. I just kind of feel like it got lost a little bit in how good the rest of the card was. Similar to like Athena and Mina Shirakawa. But still, the two of them killed it, and I'm excited to see where they go. Brody versus Swerve is where they're going next, and I know, they're gonna beat the hell out of each other. I'm diddling the stuff. I don't even know what you call this. Is it dough? I don't know. Fuck, I didn't prep the, dang it. As we wait for that to heat up, I'm gonna talk about the women's title 4-way next. Thekla versus Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander. It was again, really fun match. The 4 women are all insanely talented, so putting the 4 of them in a ring, you're only gonna get something good. But aside from that, the story of the match was basically Shida and Statlander's relationship. Shida and Stat kind of kept misunderstanding. Shida wanted to do stuff, Stat would either begrudgingly do it or get upset about it. And it culminated in Shida accidentally hitting Statlander with a knee, Stat getting upset about it, and then Shida just going, fuck it, and then punching Stat, and then the two of them go. Eventually Shida hits Stat with the kendo stick, gets taken out, and it allows Thekla to hit the spear and get the win and retaining her championship. I thought if she was going to lose her title before All In, this would probably be the place to do it. And so the fact that she didn't, I assume we're going to get a babyface victory in the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. I'm happy that Shida is doing good with her character. That's kind of been a criticism that I've always had with her, is that she's always been great in-ring worker, but in terms of her character, I've never really known what it was other than fighting spirit, samurai, just typical Bushido type of stuff, which is fine for an introduction, but when she's been there for years and all she is just, I have a kendo stick, it's come on, I want more. And so her being this character of fake, essentially, I think she's been working it really well, and I'm happy that Stat and Shida will hopefully have a blood feud that'll build both of them up in the eyes of the audience and in the title picture. As for Jamie Hayter, maybe she's the wild card. If she's not, then you hope that her and Windsor will win those tag titles. Otherwise, I'm like, ugh, I don't know what Hayter's gonna do. So next up, we had a Stadium Stampede. I'm very nervous about this. I'm worried this is gonna go tits up. I'm gonna like plop it in. Oh, you know what? I forgot the cheese. Fuck! Well, I guess let me see how this goes. Stadium Stampede was fucking chaos, to put it frank. I could never do it justice by just sitting here describing it. It's just a lot of goofy spots. The ones that really stick out in my mind is like Jack Perry. Like him hitting Mark Davis with a bus, him doing the snapmare and taking Davis's eye out. I thought Kenny on Andrade was like really fun the entire time. The only stuff that I kind of didn't like was just the fact that like Kenny and the Bucks felt like background characters in Jericho's story. Like, and I feel like they are probably above that. Like, I would much rather watch Kenny Omega in like a high profile or even just an exhibition match where he puts on something spectacular rather than being lumped in with 6 other guys in just a crazy all over the place party match. Still though, besides that, really fun. I'm glad that Jericho's team got the win, and I'm very happy that Jericho and Ricochet's feud is done and they're not repeating the same mistakes they did previously with Jericho. Excited to see Tommaso Ciampa and Jericho. Well, kind of. I'm not usually that excited by Jericho. But, you know, this was fun, and Ciampa's been on fire since he joined AEW. So if there's anyone I can hope that to take Jericho to a spectacular feud, it's Tommaso Ciampa. You know, them things just, you know, frittering, I think, maybe. Probably should turn the heat down a little, I think. I mean, they're staying together, which is the biggest issue that I thought we would be working with. I mean, you know, they clump to the bottom of the pan a little bit, but I'm trying my best. Next up, we had the main event, which was Darby Allin defending his AEW World Championship against MJF in a hair versus title matchup. I really wanted Darby to win. I fantasy booked it in my head that Darby would shock the world and defeat MJF, make him go bald, send him off to Hollywood for some role or whatever. And then he would continue the open challenge, and Kenny Omega would come out, answer the open challenge, and defeat Darby Allin, setting up Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wembley. That is what I was hoping for. It did not happen. MJF won his title back. He is now a 3-time world champion. And the match itself was spectacular. It was crazy. It was all over the place. Darby just continuing to kill himself, and that was the story of the match and the story of Darby's title reign as a whole. Was just, he was willing to do anything. Sorry, I just realized I need someplace to actually put this when it's done cooking. Fuck. The Demon Code romance, baby. But yeah. Of course, the big thing to come out of the ending, besides MJF winning the title, obviously, was they put Darby on a stretcher, similar to Hangman, and of course, similar to Hangman, MJF felt the need to stand on top of him and gloat. Kevin Knight comes out seemingly to run off MJF. Well, he does do it. But Then he sees Darby getting stretchered out. He's on the top rope. He hits the UFO splash. By God, how could you do that to him, Knight? You were from the same school, Buddy Wayne. God damn. I think the obvious option is probably best option when it comes to Knight. Feud with Speedball Mike Bailey, then feud with Darby Allin, and then either culminating in another triple threat, which probably not if you're gonna do Konosuke, Fletcher, and Okada. And then I guess you would just leave it to Knight versus Darby, which makes me sad because I feel like Speedball should be involved. Maybe you throw Ciampa in there, make it a fatal 4-way. I don't know, probably not. Or maybe Kenny somehow manages to take the title, knocks MJF out, and then you do a fatal 4-way. You do MJF versus Darby versus Kevin versus Speedball. And if you really wanted to try and make some new stars, have Speedball win, pinning like MJF or something like huge like that. Do I think that's the best use of MJF? Probably not. I mean, he's a big star, and putting him in a fatal 4-way is probably not the best use of him. But still, if you want to try and elevate those two guys, Jet Speed, even higher, I think having Darby and MJF be the ones to try and do it, you know, is a great way to do it. Is it the right way? Probably not, but, you know, just where my mind went to right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment of truth. Here, let me see if I can put it into the camera. Not fucking throw it. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I fucked this up. The recipe I was trying to do. I was supposed to crack 2 eggs into this. Didn't do it. Supposed to put in 100 grams of cheese. Didn't do it. Just threw in potato. Butternut squash. I legit was like, sweet potato. What the fuck is this? That's not a sweet potato. You know, and then a bunch of spices. So, you know, hopefully it tastes decent. But if it doesn't, it's probably not because the sweet potato's not good. It's probably because I just fucked up making it. So, moment of truth. I mean, it's not bad. It's essentially a hash brown. I'm not great at cooking, nor do I have much of an insight about it, so I can't really say much. I'm like, it's kind of bland, but that's probably on me. I need to add more seasoning. It's definitely not as like heavy as like a typical hash brown, but you still get that like outer, you know, like crispy, crunchy feel. And I think you put some like good sauces on this, like some ranch or some ketchup or whatever. Maybe some like dill dipping sauce. Oh shit, look at me. Gordon Ramsay, look at me. I think this could be something cool. Honestly, I'm probably gonna try it again, but do it right sometime in the future. But regardless, Double or Nothing was a fantastic show. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic first video, true video of mine. And you know, I'm gonna say, hey, cheers to hopefully many more. Thank you so much. My name's Butternut Squash Match. Fuck.